All right. It is 6:30 p.m. on a Monday. We're going to prep some Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to be working on Odyssey, the Dragonlords, Odyssey Prime, God's work. Or is it God's work? We don't even know anymore. Uh, so we left off last week at a pretty big cliffhanger. The rest of the party wants to take Hades' deal and just speak with him. Hey, what's up, Ark? The rest of the party just wants to take Hades' deal, step off the path, talk to Hades, get some solutions. Phil does not. Phil wants to pursue godhood all the way. How much of it is what Phil wants? How much of it is what Remy wants? Honestly, when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, both those things matter, you know? A lot of times a character's creator will do things to them that the character might not want to do. You see fandoms get upset about it all the time. A lot of times a creator will do things that they know the character wants, even if the creator doesn't want it, and fans will get really mad about it. So here's the thing. We made this particular boss fight a while ago. And these ladies are really fucking tough. They're really fucking tough. We made them with our, like, pseudo boss builder, like, script or whatever. Like, the real messy, like, oh, if I turn this on, it makes this kind of boss. And I turn this off, it makes that kind of boss. They have some pretty neat stuff that they can do. I just don't see they're made to work together and they're made to work against a group. So could one guy handle them even if we reduced all of their hit points by 1/5, and even if we took away their Paragon actions? That's a question I'm kind of asking myself right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just close out or clear out our chat. There we go. And we've got to figure out, I guess, could that happen? So I'm going to open up Phil's character sheet. I'm going to go ahead and go to blind GM rolls. Nope. I'm going to go to self rolls, even better. And I'm going to go ahead and roll out a shitload of attacks here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see what happens. Alright, so herein is the issue. Like, sometimes Phil, with a crit, can deliver a lot of damage, right? But at the end of the day, without haste, without some other benefits like that, without the assistance of his allies, he just doesn't have the DPS, even as a barbarian, to do that. Will he survive the attacks, right? So I'm going to open up a calculator. And we're going to punch in his damage outputs here. Hold on. Assuming that every hit actually came in as a critical, we're looking at 10, but we're also looking at 56. And I believe as a barbarian, he would get even more on top of that. We're looking at 49. Okay. That means in 3 hits, he could kill one of these ladies if we drop them to have 1/5 of their normal hit points. Then we go to 30 for 19. We got another crit there. You might think that this is a lot of crits, and it wouldn't be like a good indication, but Remy is a very lucky person, so it's actually ironic that when we're testing out the rolls, we got a bunch of crits, because that's generally like how their game plays out. So let's see. 115 is where we left off, I believe. Plus 33 plus 52 Let's see. Plus 31. Alright, so in 10 hits, they're able to drop 213 damage. If we divide that by 10, we're looking at maybe like 23 damage a round. There's just no way 23 damage a round. If he's critting every single time, sure, but the non-crits, they're just too low to make a difference. 231 would be, if we dropped the health of the bosses down to a fifth of what they normally are, he would be able to take out 2 of the bosses. 2 of the bosses in 5 rounds. Could he survive 5 rounds against them? Alright, here's the issue. One of them is an actual cleric who can just heal up their allies, who can cast Death Ward on their allies, who can revivify their allies and then turn around and heal those allies. Can he stand against that? Is part of the problem. Pincer movement. When an ally moves adjacent to an enemy, you can spend your reaction to move up to your speed towards the same enemy. So they have a little bit of extra movement as they go around. Also, they cancel critical hits. So all of the math that we just had, as long as Lycos, the Wolf Sister Gravetender, is still alive, he's not going to be able to get any critical hits off. He's going to have to prioritize her first and hope that he can kill her before he is killed by the Rogue and the Barbarian. So the Rogue is coming in here. If we assume that she, the healer, is just healing up ally, if she's just healing up ally and preventing him from getting crits, we go over here. Alright. This lady's adding 16 damage to every hit. She adds 10d6 damage to any attack made against a creature adjacent to one of her sisters. She can grant enemies within 30 feet of you make all attacks and saves at disadvantage. Allies within 30 feet of you make all attacks and saves at advantage. It's just no way. It's just no way for him to solo this, is what it comes down to. Even if we reduce all of their stuff, like, he's still not going to be able to do it. Now, we didn't even look at accuracy, right? Because we assume that he's going to try to go reckless. But their armor classes are indicative of a very high level creature, right? So they're running around with like 28s, 29s. This one over here is coming in at 30. Like, what the fuck is he supposed to do? How is he supposed to kill these creatures? I don't know. Would it make a good story to put them just within reach and a very lucky fight could do it? Or would it be a better story to just accept the fact that this fight was meant for stronger people or a group of strong people and he just can't do it himself? It's really hard. It's a really hard decision to make on my part. What makes for a better story? If we were watching this as a show, or like like an anime or a big fantasy show or something like that, what would be the coolest thing? Like watching Philippicles walk away from the rest of the heroes only to get fucking stomped by these others? Or would it be cooler if he went off and he somehow managed to do it? How would the other players feel if the implication was that Philippicles was equivalent to all of them in battle? Like, how would that be? And then there's also the matter of, are they tasked with fighting to the death, or are they tasked with providing a challenge? Maybe he only has to deal enough damage to bloody them, and then they kneel out of the fight, and once he has kind of brought each of them to a bloodied state, then they say, oh, we're out, we're not going to do this anymore, you get to access the vault. Either way, it creates a really weird situation. Like, how are the other characters rewarded equitably for stepping off the path? How is he rewarded for staying on the path? How do they reconcile those differences? How do they reconcile if he steps off the path and he dies? These are all really tough things that I'm kind of trying to figure out and ask myself. And I'm not sure. One of the things that he'd probably try to do is grab them and throw them into this, you know, reservoir of souls, which is certainly not a bad move at all. Would they stay here and fight, or would they use that high level ability that all these gods seem to have of just changing the battlefield to whatever looks cool and is effective for them? It's a tough call. It's a real tough call. And they could all fly magically. So, like, is being thrown in the reservoir going to matter? They're just going to, like, pop back out? This isn't Smash Brothers, is it? Question mark? Yeah, I'm definitely finding myself in a situation where I don't exactly know what to do with this scenario that they're in and how to make it go any further. It would be great to just approach it as written, right? And say, okay, well, this was an incredibly hard boss fight that was designed for you, and if you don't want to do it, then I guess you don't do it, and that's the end. Or, you know, we make allowances, we rule a cool it for a better story. Tough call. But while we're like scumming through like stats and things, looking for numbers, this individual right here, Lycos Wolf Sister Zealot, they have Grappler as well. They have Reckless. I mean, they're a Barbarian. They have Rage Beyond Death. When you're raging, have 0 hit points, doesn't knock you unconscious. You still must make death saving throws, and you can suffer the normal amount. So they're going to just be kind of going back and forth, beating on each other. I think it'll make for a really cool fight, but I don't know how to do this in a fair and equitable way other than rebalancing the three to be a good solo fight, essentially. If we make it a good solo fight, then and he still wins, that's amazing. If we make it a good solo fight and he tries and he fails, then, you know, you can feel a little bit better about it. If he tries to fight a battle designed for a party of 5 with all the powers of a B team and all the powers of them being able to work together, what are you supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? So, it's tricky. It's real tricky. So, I don't think that he will be able to talk them into fighting it. Maybe. I don't want to waste a lot of the session kind of going back and forth about should they fight or should they not fight. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. Anyways, so that's something that I've been thinking about quite a bit, and then debating whether or not to rebalance these ladies real quick. One of the issues with these cool effects that I have is that if I toggle them on and if I toggle them off, that is kind of the only way to change the stats. Like, I can't go in and manually change the stats anymore because they are built with these effects. The other thing that kind of sucks is Combat Carousel sort of like sells me out whenever they're fighting these kind of bosses because it shows all the active effects that are on an actor. So the party kind of looks at the combat carousel and they see that the bad guys just have a million different things on it. So, I think I might be able to adjust that if I go to the combat carousel. And let's see. We're enabling it. We got the carousel. We have pan on card click. Pans to the matching token when a card is clicked. Note the token must be visible to the current user. Let's see. Show overlay. Shows overlay. Okay, let's see. Show effects. Here we go. I'm just going to turn this to no effects. There we go. And that should kind of strip away a bit of the spoilers there. We have plenty of other ways to track what effects people have. Without the bad guys having to reveal all their special effects. how would I reduce this this trio to be manageable for him? The DPS is not too much of a concern because Philippocles is sort of like all barbarians at once because of how we handled like epic boons and all this like over the top bullshit in our campaign. Um, so one of the features that he has is basically when he would die, just like a zealot barbarian, the Spark of Valor will just kind of bring him back. So when you are reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. So he's got that. But then I believe there's also... God, these characters have so many abilities. Let's see. Terrify, Hercules Rage, Heroic Fury, Barbarian. Let's see. I don't remember what the fuck it is. But essentially, he has a similar ability to her. So, like, if he would drop... here we go. He makes a con save, and he wouldn't drop. And that just keeps going and going and going. Just back and forth. I don't know. I think it'll be a cool fight. I think one of the things I've noticed recently is the party is pretty much always starting off with full resources. Yeah, to a certain extent. In this instance, not so much. Like, Hypatia's got quite a bit of exhaustion, I believe. Yeah, they're at like 3 levels of exhaustion. You know, Reset's got 1 exhaustion. But for the most part, they always have all their resources and all that. It's a bit hard to strip out the resources of like a very high level group because they have magic, right? They have a level 16 wizard. They can just rest whenever they need to. So, I don't know. They go into another dimension to rest. They go into a force field to rest. They go into a pocket dimension to rest. They teleport home and rest, and they teleport to the end of the dungeon. So all the fighting really just comes down to set piece battles, you know? Like the wolves that I had them fight in the woods, there was no challenge there at all. It was just to kind of explain that there's wolves in the woods. The wolves tried to attack them, and they were too strong. The birds that attacked them, they couldn't do anything. They need to be reminded sometimes that they are very, very strong so that they feel good about being high level. If every single fight is just a constant raw-ass beatdown, they are going to just be like, ugh, it just feels like one raw beatdown after another. They need to be reminded, like, how ridiculously strong they actually are. So, what are we going to do if... We know what we're going to do if they try to fight. I'll reduce the strength of it if they do a solo fight, and I'll reduce the amount of Paragon actions. It's a bit deceptive because they don't know that she can split into 3 people. So Phil might think that he's going into a one-on-one fight, and he's not. But I seriously doubt that anyone in the underworld really cares. Hey Crash, do you know somewhere I could find good instructions how to self-host my game in Foundry? I do not self-host. I have no idea where you could self-host. I use the Forge VTT for my hosting, and I'm very happy with it. I looked into self-hosting when I first got onto Foundry, and the cost and the effort just didn't seem like it was worth it to me. And also, I was still living in my apartment at the time, and I didn't have any control over whether or not I had good internet. And it just wasn't a viable thing for me to do. So I have since gotten a very good internet, and I could probably self-host if I wanted to, but now I'm partnered with the Forge, and I basically get my hosting for free. But I think that they're really good for hosting. They're just one less thing to think about. You just kind of pay the bill each month. There have been times where the service has gone out, and they have been very good about fixing it. I run, what, 5 or 6 games a week, and the whole time, year and a half, I guess, that I've been using the Forge, I think I've had to cancel 1 game because the Forge wasn't able to get stuff working, which I've had to cancel way more Roll20 games for the same reason. So, not bad as far as outages go for a relatively small company. All right, let's look at, let's see, the Vaults of Hades. We've got Hades itself, and we got this Hades underworld. We could drop everybody onto the scene. Yeah, no worries. And then let's see, let's grab Hades. Drop him on here. And let's see. Is there a way to make Hades bigger? I guess that's big enough. I don't know. So they could kind of speak with him about what's going on. What is Hades' final what's his final end game? Like, what does he want? Well, he wants his family returned to him. And they are trapped in Thylea. And the easiest way, this sounds crazy, the easiest way he thinks to get them released would just be to, because he doesn't want to go there, because he's got shit to do. And he told them not to go, and it's not his idea to go. But he wants his family members back, and the easiest way would simply be to destroy the prison that they are in, which is to say, to destroy Thylea. So a crazy woman came along and said that she was the daughter of Thylea, and that she would very gladly destroy her and set his people free, essentially. So he already has a deal in place to do that very same thing. But sometimes when you really want a job done, you hire more than one set of contractors. So if the party is still so misled that they think that destroying Thylea is the best way to handle things without thinking about the whole Legend of Zelda Windfish concept that Thylea dreamt up the world, and if Thylea were to be killed or woken up, then the world would end, what would happen to all the people that live in the world? Where would they go? Would they survive? Are they all just dream constructs? Are they separate from the dream now that they exist? That whole deal. Hades doesn't give a shit about any of that because that's not his world. That's not his problem. His people went there and they shouldn't have, and they haven't come back. And he wants them back. How does he present that to the players without making it too heavy-handed and too obvious that the missing gods are members of the Greek pantheon, without scaring the shit out of the players that those missing gods are members of the Greek pantheon? Why would he help them? What is his goal without revealing his goal? Would he care if his goal is revealed? He probably wouldn't care. I would care as the DM. I didn't actually think they would take Hades' deal, so I didn't know that they were going to be in a situation where I had to worry about them finding out that the gods, the older pantheon, the imprisoned pantheon of Thylea was the Greek gods, or some of the Greek gods that went missing. So it's a lot, you know what I mean? It makes my fucking head hurt. Yeah. So he might be obtuse, and he might say that there were treasures taken from his world, and he very much wants those treasures back now. And he might say that there were 8 such treasures, or maybe even he might say that there are 9 such treasures, since they have the cap of Hades. And then if they agree to return those treasures to him in exchange for the favors that he is willing to grant. So then the argument is, how can Hades, if he doesn't want to go to the world of Thylea, and how is he going to do the things for them that they want done, right? He claims that he could free Pythor from the Isle of the Fates. He claims that he could get Hypatia back Chandras, and so on and so forth. How does he make good on those promises? How does he make good on those arrangements without just some DM plot hand waving kind of shit? What is the rationale there? How is he so much stronger than the other gods of his pantheon? And to a certain extent, he has worked harder than the other gods in his pantheon. He is the leader of the triumvirate of death. Like he is considered the strongest god of death in the multiverse, perhaps even stronger than death itself, whose house they walked past on the way to his. This is because in the D&D pantheon, you are what you started, but you are also what you became, right? So he might have just started as a god on, Earth and the Greek pantheon and all that, but the Hades of Dungeons and Dragons has definitely expanded his portfolio. He has definitely amassed power. He has amassed favors. He has amassed treasure. It is well within reason that he might be able to provide the gifts, the boons, the knowledge that they need to accomplish the things that they're going to do without ever setting foot within Thylea. So if we wanted to keep it, again, abstract and not just say, hey, I need you to free some people who were taken from me, he could simply say that in your world are 8 false gods. And those 8 false gods have taken something precious from me. I want those things returned to me. And in exchange, I will grant you the boons that you seek. And because these guys operate off the same kind of oaths and stuff like that Thylea does, he will swear an oath to fulfill his end of the bargain, and they, of course, swear an oath to fulfill their end of the bargain. And if they don't fulfill their end of the bargain, they're pretty screwed. So those 8 imposters, what he wants returned to him, of course, is them themselves. So when they took something, right? This is how you get the Greek myth shit going here. They didn't take a treasure per se, right? They took something abstract. They took themselves away when they left him, when they left their duties, right? And he wants them returned. So it's not that they have something, they are something. So that's a good way to kind of keep it abstract. Like there are eight false gods dwelling in your world who have taken great power and treasure from my people, my pantheon, and I want those things returned. My brother does nothing but idle and languish in his sorrows. But someone must, or he has 2 brothers, so not really doing shit for shit. But someone must step forward and make this right. I would go myself, but my duties are too great. Blah 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 blah. Wouldn't Hades not be affected by the oath since he's not Thyllean? Yes. Okay. I said it was said it was like the oaths of Thylea. I didn't say it was the oaths of Thylea. A popular thing in D&D lore, especially the older editions, was something called the God Blood Oath. Alright, so essentially, let me see if I could find some good stuff for this. Alright, I'm looking for where I've got the rules for God Blood Oaths. Hold on. Oh, I think these books are so big and so old that they might not be searchable PDFs. Oof, that would be some shit right there. Essentially, if you swear an oath to a god and a god swears an oath to you, it can be a binding thing, even if you are not in Thylea. So if a strong enough entity is involved, the oath becomes binding. Let's see. Yeah, these are all flat-ass pages, so I don't know where I'm going to find... let me see. Death, retiring, disease, magical disease, lycanthropy, alignment, good and evil, course of flaws, talents, let's see, spells, insanity, combat, missile called shots, time in your dungeon, critical hits, more character death, an escapable death, death from massive damage, trauma damage. Let's see. Smart ass, smackdown table, non-player characters, standard hiring, the adventure, ongoing campaign, law, religion, money, torture, banishment, degradation, confinement, mutilation. Oh man, this is a very chunky book. Let's see. Oh, there's an appendices. Is there a glossary? Maybe it's in the back. Hold on. Oh, so many tables. Uh-oh. Alright. So basically, with a god blood oath, if they turn their back on it, they lose what is like honor, essentially, and other people see that stain on their honor everywhere they go. And basically, sort of like in Thylea, that is physically manifested as like a curse, like being turned into a harpy, being turned into a minotaur, being turned. Mechanically, it just comes down to other entities will not trust them. Some will be hostile against them, and so on and so forth. So yeah. If this guy were to swear an oath to them and they were to swear an oath back to him, it would be on par with what they're currently dealing with in Thylea. Alright. But we'll see whether or not they even bother to do that. So let's see. Assuming they get through this arc and they close it out, maybe they do decide to go to the vaults. So then we got the situation with Timothy. Timothy is willing to trade with them as necessary. If they go this route, Hades would appear here, and he would grant them the ambrosia, which is the thing that they seek. So either way, kind of works out. He might even mention to them that they did a good job on the path, blah blah blah. So it's like the two diverging paths. They both kind of lead to the same thing. What happens to the story if they don't have the ambrosia, right? Because do they even need to go get the caduceus anymore? Do they even need to go get the Promethean flame anymore? Like, why would they need those things? Because they need all three to become gods. If they're not becoming gods, what is the benefit of getting those other objects? Well, the caduceus in and of itself is an incredibly powerful legendary item. So it has mastery over life and death. Like, that in and of itself is still a pretty badass thing to have. And then as far as the Promethean flame, they need to go down there and get the Promethean flame anyways, because that is what has the power source that keeps those false gods imprisoned. So it all still works out, right? They still do all of the post-game shit that they're supposed to do. All right. Now, we talked about, there's a lot of time spent just like hashing this shit out. I mean, we've been talking about what happens, with their choices tonight for the duration of this whole stream, which is about 35 minutes. What about the rest of our prep? What are we going to do, right? They are going to return to the world. So how much time has passed, and what will they be doing when they get back? These are the questions that we need to answer. Whew. first of all, they will get back and be level 17. So let's go ahead and open our actual notes for the actual campaign and start getting that stuff sorted. All right. So we're going to zoom in a little bit, maybe a little bit more. Okay, we're going to turn off commenting tool. There we go. Alrighty. So time has passed. 6 months have passed since the Chosen entered Hell. During that time, the following shit went down, and then we started exploring that. And also, milestone. Let's see. Level 17. Other milestones would be the Caduceus to hit 18. The I don't want to like back to back kind of blow them up with these things, but I do kind of want to get the ball rolling on the rest of the shit. Promethean Flame would be milestone. They can get these out of order. That's fine. All right. I should have probably given them a milestone for retrieving the airship stuff, because now they would return and get double level up, and it would have been a lot cooler for them to be level 17 going through Hell instead of level 16 going through Hell, but we sort of missed that opportunity, so fuck it, I guess. Other goals that they might have would have been rescue Pythor, question mark? Could that have been a milestone? If Hades is just going to like hand wave all of these difficulties, is he just giving them all these level ups? I don't know. And then, let's see, save Chandras. That's another milestone. I think that pretty much covers all possible milestones that we would need to get them up to 20 and then have them 20 for the rest of the campaign. I guess if I could think of any others that would be spaced out with everything here, we certainly could. Alright, so down here we've got missing souls, and we talked about all the souls that have escaped and what we could do with them. I'd very much just like all of those souls to be, you know, who they are or whatever, and not stress that too much. Let's see. Basilidus, the druid who defied even Thylea by refusing to let plant or animal die. How the druid lich threatened the heart of Thylea by trying to corrupt it, since Thylea is the land itself. Works fine. Then we've got Abascantus, the Fade Trickster who traded souls to the demons of the Nether Sea until his activities were discovered by the Furies. Krokonos, killed because he was prophesized to eat the gods. We already have that because we made fucking Godzilla. Jonathan Atkiss, Actis, a man from another world. Dangerous knowledge could unravel the status quo. Isandros, secret twin brother of Acastus, killed by Idala as a baby or Idylla as a baby to ensure the greatness of Acastus, a greatness that fate decreed would ever come to pass. Maya, stolen away by Petios, died because they will infect the world with a deadly plague. Maya's soul unleashed plagues in Mitros. Only cure is the ambrosia. Oh no! But they don't have the ambrosia. For the missing soul, the reason Maya is doing this is to get revenge against Valis for putting her father in exile. Well, we would probably allow ambrosia / caduceus, I guess, at this point, because there might not be an ambrosia available. Melanie, a lich who defies death, and then Katya, who made a deal with Lutheria. It occurs to me that it would have been cool to include Damon as one of the liches. So what would be kind of neat is if Melanie, a lich who defied death, has taken shelter with Damon in Tillamook. So that kind of like creates an awkward situation there. Alright. Would Katya have made a deal with Lutheria to be released? Sure. what is the deal to mislead the heroes? I don't think they'll fall for it. Aid the heroes in freeing the Lost Pantheon? Okay, that might actually work. Alright. So other loose ends that we were going to tie up, but we ran out of time last week. So, those other loose ends include what is happening with the Myrmikis. Alright, so essentially, ongoing battle with the Myrmikis of the Hollow World has the remaining OG Titans and their followers fully occupied, period. Alright, so seem to be winning, but nearly worn out. Say one of the OG Titans was slain, its body repurposed into a living war machine. Okay, that's pretty dope. Because, you know, they're like bugs and stuff, and bug aliens get like, I don't know, whatever. We've got the kaiju situation here. That hasn't dropped just yet. And then we do want to do the Sunken Kingdom more so than anything else, because we want Anna's arc to be able to complete. We've got this Lost Pantheon here, which we, I guess, need stat blocks for. I know Jared made a ton of stat blocks for us to use, so I just got to go to that and kind of get those loaded in and take a look at them. And what else? We reread the whole adventure last week, and that was pretty sad to read. We got this boss hit list, and again, I think a lot of it was taken care of. The Time Dragon Egg. So if the Time Dragon survives, not survives, is still in their possession when they return, it will hatch, but then they just have a baby Time Dragon. I don't really know how that helps them too much. Indigo Island was set by waking nightmares and eldritch horrors. Gerblins pray to Phil for help. I'm fucking over that shit, so we'll just delete that. We got the bugs here. That's already been kind of established. We're going to drop all of the Midas DLC, so we're just going to go ahead and, yeah, we're just going to make a big red. Nope, don't do that. Talus's mask led them to the missing souls list, so that's taken care of. What is Narcissus going to do if he cannot become a god? What happens there? Is Narcissus going to join the bad guys? Is Narcissus going to listen to Lutheria's lies, be set on the path? Maybe they're not even lies. Maybe when the world is destroyed, he will be free. What does that even mean? Will he be furious at the party for not getting the ambrosia and for letting his home fall into civil war? Probably, yeah. So it's a whole thing. I would argue, and hear me out, this is pretty hardcore. What if they decide not to get the ambrosia? What if Narcissus is killed? Because he's just a regular ass dragon now, right? So what if he is killed during the Civil War of Aresia? That'd be pretty fucking cool. So if heroes turned down ambrosia, Narcissus is killed during Aresian Civil War. Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's good stuff. Okay. So now it's just about whittling down whatever is left. So of these missing souls, what is the benefit of returning these souls? Are all of the souls bad? That's a good question. So I kind of want to ask myself that. Are all the missing souls truly a problem? What is the benefit of retrieving those souls? Okay. Rewards? Question mark? Damage prevention? Okay. Obviously, the purpose of them is to just sow discord, right? Oh, shit. So the purpose is to sow discord throughout Thylea. Distractions. Alright. Then that brings us to... We got missing some, we got lost souls. How do we save Pythor, right? We should probably have that figured out. So Pythor is on Isle of the Oathbreakers. Astraeus says no. Furies say no. So let's see. Astraeus will order Furies. Well, he won't order anybody. Let's say Furies will do whatever is needed to stop Pythor from being freed. If heroes kill Furies, basically there is no one to enforce the laws of Thylea. Just like, you know, when there's no god of death, there's no one to keep the dead dead, essentially. Let's see. This works well for Lutheria, who doesn't need additional adversaries for what she has planned. Period. All right. Okay. Hades cop out. Would curses also not happen if the Furies are dead? That's a great question. Minor curses, yeah, and well, Thylean curses. There you go. Thylean curses would no longer happen. Current curses would continue. Good question. Absolutely, yeah. Moving forward, no one would become cursed. They already replaced the Fates, who were put in power by Thylea, and then if they also kill the Furies, the Irenes that were put in charge, then there are no cops anymore. Like, so there's nobody. So that's, I mean, just the total breakdown of law and courtesy and tradition within the world, which is pretty heavy stuff, all things considered. Now, if there's a Hades cop out, does that make this cleaner, or does that make that even worse? So, yeah. I think the argument here would be rather simple. Hades knows his way around, you know, like death and the underworld and whatnot. Would these Furies be willing to skirt their duties for this? So, we have established already Oh yeah, Coxbane. The best villain has the good guys do all of the work for them. Yep. Do you hear? Without me putting the words in their mouths, have you heard the shit that they're saying in this game? Well, we'll just kill Thylea. Well, we'll just stop Thylea. We're gonna take the power away from her. We're gonna remove her from the equation. We're gonna make the rules. We're gonna remove the rule makers. Like, this is her manifesto. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is everything that Lutheria has ever wanted, and they are, after walking through, what, 9 layers of hell, they're like, gonna do it. If she had ever asked them to do it, they would never have done it. But they are doing it themselves. And everyone that they met when they walked the path of the Vault Breaker said that there was another from Thylea who wanted the same things, who said the same things. They are walking in her footsteps. They are doing her will in the multiverse, but yet they are convinced that they are working against her. Do you see how incredible that is? Right? That's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good. Alright, so the Hades cop-out would pretty much be a soul for a soul. Here's how it goes. Hades is no stranger to being unable to see the woman he loves. Helps Astraeus set up winter. During winter, she can visit him, and the land itself will die and become dormant. But when she returns to the surface and the heart, spring will occur, and life will renew. And here's the thing, right? So the whole thing that happened with Astraeus and his wife, that was to mirror what happened with Hades and Persephone or whatever, right? And so Hades' cop out is he just has fucking coffee, you know? Some cigars and whiskey. He just sits down with Astraeus and he's like, "Hey, buddy, you're new to this. Let me tell you about seasons. Because if you would recall, there was never any seasons during the campaign. Every day, the weather was the same unless Sidon changed it. The only place that was cold was the mountain. The only place that was hot was the desert and the jungle. There were no seasons in the world. Just the time passing. Mediterranean climate year-round." So he teaches Astraeus, who would know what seasons are because he's from Faerun. He would teach him how to create seasons by manipulating the placement of life and death. Death can never rise to the surface. We are prisoners. The gods of the netherworld are prisoners. But the gods of life can leave as long as they don't leave forever. The land will suffer, but it won't have to suffer forever. And then in those very fleeting moments, they can be together again. There's some good shit right there. It's the good shit. Okay, so we got the Hades cop-out for that. What about Save Chandras? Hashtag Save Chandras. Alright, what are we doing for hashtag Save Chandras? It's pretty simple. Let's see. Lucy has Chandras only because it will keep Hypatia distracted. Period. She does not have him on her person. Pretty simple. He is inside a soul gem. The soul gem is inside the Tarrasque. Yep. Dungeon inside a monster. Dun dun dun. Alright, so what is the Hades cop-out? Let's see. The Hades cop-out would be... And again, the best part about being the DM and the storyteller is that we're not robots. We're not stuck following the module exactly as it's written. We don't even have to follow the fucking script as it's written. We're like TV writers that you don't even write the whole season in advance. You're like fucking seat of your pants writing the next episode as you go. Like, right? That's how Dungeon Master life is, right? DM life, GM life, whatever you want to call it. So the Hades cop-out doesn't have to follow any of the fucking rules. So if they take the Hades cop-out, Hades already has the gem. It was given to him by Lutheria. What? Does the Chandra Soul Gem make the Tarrasque intelligent? Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. That implies that Chandras would have enough of a soul or enough of an influence within his prison to sort of affect the thing. But, Orpheus, I like where your head's at, because inside the Tarrasque, Chandras will attempt to control the Tarrasque and keep it from harming Hypatia. What? Oh man, that's some good shit. This is good eats. I'm just taking the stuff we're working on right now. I'm just cutting it up with a knife and a fork. I'm just eating it. I'm just eating it up right now. This is the good shit we got here. I feel a lot better about things than I did at the beginning of the stream, and certainly a lot better than I felt during last week's prep. Alright, I think we are, however, closing in on the 1 hour mark. We got 2 minutes left. Alright, all the other things that they want will be very easy to bullshit, so now we got those sorted out. Yes, the Tarrasque does the finger steepling. Yeah, I like that. You know, it makes a bunch of grunts and stuff, and then it says in the subtitles, like, no one wants you to succeed more than I do, heroes. You know, things like that. Good stuff. Alright, I feel much better about it. I'm going to go eat some dinner. Quick announcements. Tomorrow night, Dom Odyssey is beginning his Cyberpunk game in these uncertain times where the OGL is a danger and Wizards of the Coast is literally shitting down your throat. You might want to start looking into other games to play. Cyberpunk, dash a game. Dom's going to start his campaign tomorrow. I believe Major Snood, who is Orin, who is Will, who is Nim, they are going to be streaming it, so you can check that out. Wednesday night, we've got Curse of Strahd Nightfall. It's good stuff. These Curse of Strahd games, I'm very happy with them. So far, so good. Feeling pretty good about them. Both groups are now level 2, with sort of a half level as their level 0, so like level 2.5. And they're starting to feel more confident, and they are... the fear meter is going down, which is good, because we need them to start to think that they could actually survive, and then, you know, put them back out into the world, and just murder them all. Let's see, Friday, Orpheus continues his Rime of the Frost Maiden game. I've heard good things about it. I have not got a chance to check it out myself. Saturday morning, we got Red Hand of Doom continuing. Sunday morning, we have Curse of Strahd Daybreak. And Sunday night, Mythic Odyssey continues. They are in a real pickle. Let me tell you, things are not going good over at the Island of the Fates. Who could have thought that two creatures that could make anti-magic fields automatically would be difficult fight? I certainly didn't. Wow, I really should have thought that one through. Oh well. And then Monday we'll be back here. So I hope everybody enjoys their time. And has a safe and healthy week, and I will see you next time.